What's up guys, Stephen Cult of Mac here, and today I'm going to address an issue that an awful lot of people have with the iPhone X, the notch. Since we released our review of the iPhone X, or heck, even since the phone was announced, everyone who's not had a go with the phone has complained about the notch. But today, I am going to do my best to convince you why it's not an issue, and explain why I think the iPhone X actually needs it. Let's start with why it's not an issue. If you've seen our review, I'm basically going to echo that. After maybe a day or two's use, you just don't notice it. Myself, Killian on the blog, Airfon, Leander and Lewis from the Cultcast all say the same. It sits at the top primarily to house the front-facing camera and all of the fancy sensors. It's not in the way when browsing the web or watching videos, especially if you don't scale them up so they're not edge to edge, and then even when I do, the notch doesn't bother me. Actually, it bothers me more that it's a weird aspect ratio, so it crops the top and the bottom of the video when you scale it up, but that's another issue altogether. The only real downside I can point out about the notch is that it leaves less room at the top for information such as battery percentage. And Apple doesn't have a solution other than to swipe down to show it in the control center. Would it have been that hard to have an option to have percentage instead of a battery icon? No. Moving on to why I think the iPhone X needs the notch, and why I actually like it, let's start with branding. Companies, especially Apple, love to have icons of the products. It looks nice and clean on websites, apps and manuals. Apple designers, and maybe even Johnny Ive himself, who knows, sees this as a feature, not a design mishap. It makes it stand out from other phones. Before, they stood out with the home button in a sea of capacitive or on-screen buttons with Android phones, and with that gone, the notch takes its place. If you were to draw the iPhone without a notch for an icon, it would just be another rectangle. It makes it easy to differentiate the iPhone X from other phones. It's the main distinctive feature. Not only that, it actually helps me. For example, I tend to go to bed a lot later than my fiancée, which means I have to creep in pitch black. Then when I finally get into bed, I've got to fumble around for my lightning cable to plug it in to charge overnight, and having that notch there means I can easily see which is the top and the bottom. Finally, while it does take space away from the information out of the top bar, it actually means that it doesn't interfere with any portrait apps, giving them more room to work around. It just cuts up at the top, then anything below the notch is for the app developers to work with. I don't know if any of this is going to convince you to think differently about the iPhone X's notch, but if you're sitting on the fence on whether to buy one purely because of it, you're missing out for no reason. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the iPhone X's notch in the comments section down below. I will be replying for the next hour or so and I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.